If you want to win money in NBA DFS, then listen to the judge. Most importantly, he will teach you to think like a successful NBA DFSer. If you want fake NBA DFS news from guys trying to take your money, then we kindly ask you to go listen to hashtag garbage grinders. My favorite part of the podcast is when he drinks water on air. Let you know he's been working hard. I still laugh every time I think about the judge saying that Tin Man Anthony Davis had to leave a game due to an eyelash injury. Because it's true. Well, thank you, Tractor Trailer RIP. And that absolutely is true. Anthony Davis, I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, he certainly did need to leave a game because of a freaking eyelash injury. And why am I reading this glorious review? Well, one, it's a very clever review. And two, Anthony Davis goes out again tonight, like the 28th time this year. Unbelievable, the freaking Tin Man strikes again. Anyway, enough of this. DJ, where's my theme music? Let us start the show. This episode of DJ's Courtroom is sponsored by Draft, a daily fantasy app where your chances of winning are almost 3 times better than on FanDuel or DraftKings. On Draft, it's draft day every day. You could do a simple snake draft for one day whenever you want. Drafts take just minutes to complete. Download Draft now. Be sure to enter the promo code DFBPOD when you download to get a 100% deposit bonus. And with that, we're off. Welcome to the show for Wednesday, March 15th, 2017. A 10-game slate on tap for Wednesday. After a very disappointing 5-game slate, just blowouts and injuries dominated the slate. And the one game that should have been a blowout and that Vegas told you was going to be a blowout, Golden State Philly, that ended up deciding all the money in the world, the late night hammer, the 10:30 p.m. Eastern game. So a lot of you may be waking up, listening to this, and wake up and see your scores and what the hell happened here? That game stayed close? Yes, it stayed close. And guys like Draymond freaking Green put up monster lines and determined all the money. So for the judge, not a great night. Hopefully your night was a little better than me, but it was a low-scoring night. A lot of the chalk guys didn't come through. A lot of the bums didn't come through. There wasn't a lot of value to begin with. So a weird night. But Wednesday is back to a nice 10-game slate. Lots of options for us. So it'll be good. Before we start the show, please do 3 things for the judge. 1, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. If you haven't been noticing, I am leading off the show by reading a glorious review. So go to iTunes or Stitcher, wherever you go. Write a little review for me. Give me 5 stars. Be clever with it, though. I want you to be creative. Show your creative side. I know you guys are funny. Some of the reviews are really freaking funny. Get in line. Think about the shows. And, let the creativity fester. And then, write a little review. And then all the best ones I will read at the beginning of each show. So that's 1, rate, review, subscribe. Number 2, when I tweet out the show to the world, let us retweet it. March, as I've been mentioning last couple shows, March is a tough month for NBA DFS. It's a lot of people have kind of either stopped playing or it's just a grind. It's a long season in real life NBA, a long season in NBA DFS. So we got to still grow the audience, continue to do our thing. So when I tweet out the show, retweet it. Also, if you guys want these short 5-10 minute audio clips, I don't think I'm asking too much, am I? To ask for like 50, 75, 100 retweets, and then I'll give you a 10-minute audio clip an hour before lineup block of my top plays. So yeah, retweet. When I tweet out the link, do the RT. And number 3, download the app, support the sponsor, download the app Draft. And when you do, use the promo code DFBPOD. If you cannot find out where to put the promo code, just tweet at me at DanielAGreen1, your username on Draft, and I will get you all set up. By the way, I forgot to introduce myself. I am the judge, your host, Daniel Green, and you can find me on Twitter, like I just mentioned, at DanielAGreen1. This show could be a mess because it's 4:20 Eastern in the morning. That's right. Those of you new to the show, the judge does these freaking shows super late because when else am I going to do them? God forbid, even with a snow day like we had in New York, it actually ended up only being, I think, a little less than a foot of snow in New York City. But the weather, the wind, it was just such a nasty, disgusting day. But you would think the judge would get a nice snow day, right? Nope. Does my office close down? No, of course not. God forbid. So no day off of work for me, even though the weather was a disaster. So yeah, I do these podcasts super late at night for you guys. And what's my reward? Trolls. I don't know. I don't know what my reward is. Some days I do question, why the hell am I doing this? So yeah, this show, I didn't, my show script is my show sheet script, whatever, is not as great as it normally is. My preparation is not as good for tonight's show. I'm just saying that going into it. I'm exhausted. I'm angry. I'm bitter. I'm in a weird mood. So glad to have you. Glad to have you. But it was, man, the winds were so freaking cold today. I swear, New York City is weird because New York, we have so many buildings here. Like from block to block, it can basically be different. If you go down one block, and the wind can hit you. Some streets you have some shelter from the wind. If you go down make the wrong turn and the wind catches you, and say it was like 40, 50 degree, 50 miles per hour winds, and man, like I was taking the bailiff for a walk, and we went down the wrong street, and the wind hit him, almost lifted him off the ground. And like he was like, "Yeah, take me home. We are not walking in this crap." So hopefully, wherever you guys, the weather didn't get that bad. But man, I'm ready, so ready for this stupid winter or whatever this is to be over. All right, so I already mentioned download the app Draft. Every Wednesday we do have a new bracket up on the homepage of our sponsor. I did not see one before the show, so I sent an email out to the lovely people at Draft, and hopefully I'll hear back soon. Whenever a new bracket does come up, a new Judges Chambers bracket. Remember, if you just open up the app on the homepage, you should see a Judges Chambers bracket. So there wasn't one as of 4:20 Eastern. But whenever one does come up, I will make sure to let you guys know. And let's just jump right into Chambers, shall we, for Tuesday? Oh, no, I know what I want to talk about. So I mentioned on the last pod I did, I think was for Monday, we are going to do a Judges Chambers head-to-head style NCAA bracket. The problem is I don't think a lot of people listen to me last show because the steps are pretty easy. If you want to participate in this, the first thing you need to do is follow at DG Courtroom on Twitter. Right now, only about 43, 44 people have followed that. So obviously, that's not enough people to have head-to-head style NCAA brackets. Now, I also got a bunch of you tweeting at me normally, but it's too hard for me to sort. So you need to tweet. I mean, you need just follow these instructions. Follow at DG Courtroom on Twitter. Then tweet at DG Courtroom what bracket you want. Do you want to play in the FanDuel bracket or the DraftKings bracket? Also, very important, tweet your username on FanDuel or DraftKings. You have to do those three things if you want to play in the NCAA head-to-head style bracket. So follow DG Courtroom on Twitter. Tweet what Chambers bracket you want, FanDuel or DraftKings, and tweet your username for FanDuel or DraftKings. 3 simple steps. Because the problem is this. I know lots of guys who want to play, but I might know your username on FanDuel or DraftKings, but I don't know what your Twitter handle is, or vice versa. I need to know both in order to be able to get you to create this bracket. So follow those steps. As of right now, because we're just logistically and administratively, we can't get this ready by Thursday because people just haven't followed the directions yet. And it didn't help that I wasn't able to do a show yesterday due to the snowstorm. So right now we are aiming to start the NCAA bracket for the Judges Chambers 1 week from Thursday, which is going to be what? I guess that would be March. God, why am I wrote this down somewhere before the show. Now I can't see where I wrote it. A week from Thursday shall be March 23rd. Yes, so we are starting at March 23rd. So now it gives you guys plenty of time to follow those stupid directions, right? So follow at DG Courtroom, tweet what bracket you want, FanDuel or DraftKings, and tweet your username for either FanDuel or DraftKings. So if we can get 64 people in each, that's what we're going to do. If we get more, maybe we'll do more. Now we do have some time. And then basically what's going to happen is each of you are going to PayPal me $5, and then the higher the seed. Once I create the bracket, the higher seed number will be creating a head-to-head, like a free contest. It's real simple to do. Then you guys will just send me your screenshots. End of the night, I will update the brackets, and then I got to figure out what the prize pool should be. But it'll be fun. So again, if you guys just follow those rules, we'll get this thing put together. And again, we're shooting to start it a week from Thursday. So it's not going to start when the real NCAA tournament. But again, the real NCAA tournament goes for 3 weeks. So we still have plenty of time. All right. In terms of actual chambers for Tuesday night, only ran 2 on FanDuel and ran 3 on DraftKings. My life is crazy, hectic. Time is an issue. Some days, maybe I only open two chambers on FanDuel, and that happened on Tuesday. So only 2 of them on FanDuel. And you're asking, if you're new to the show, you're asking, what the hell is chambers? What's this guy rambling about? He's making no sense. He's not coherent. Why is he doing shows at 4:30 in the morning? I don't know the answer to all those questions. But in terms of what is chambers, it is the glorious tournament where the best DFS players in the world compete against each other. So on Tuesday, MG Fresh finally came back. It was on a legendary streak about a month ago. Has now seemed to maybe is he recapturing that magic? He took down one of the FanDuel chambers with a score of 298. It was a super low scoring night, guys. I told you, a lot of blowouts, a lot of injuries. There's not a lot of value, and a lot of chalk guys played like crap. So when that happens, it's going to be a low scoring night. So the FanDuel chambers, they had scores of 298, both of them. So MG Fresh took down one of them, and MK Knutson took down the other one. On DraftKings, again, low scoring night. Brian Ziv ZX, 21. With a score of 293, he took down the DraftKings chambers. MG Fresh got second, so he's good on both sites. And then Niner Nation got third with a score of 281. Man, in terms of dream killers and dream lovers, as you know, this is an Emmy Award-winning segment, so let me just introduce it properly, right? It's the least I can do. So let's talk about dream killers and dream lovers. Well, blowouts and injuries. It was just a disgusting night. I'm glad I purposely around 9 o'clock was 7 o'clock Eastern. I had a quick phone call. Then I took the bailiff out for a walk. I come back. It's 7:40 Eastern, something like that. And I see the Cavs are already up like 30 on Detroit in the second quarter, early in the second quarter. So right then I took my gavel. I put it really far from me because I would have started throwing things, and I started getting angry because that's never a good sign when you have only a 5-game slate and one of them already has a blow up potential. That early. How do you get down 30 in like 14 NBA minutes? It's just unbelievable. And Detroit's fighting for a playoff spot. Just frustrating. So blowouts and injuries, a dream killer for sure. In terms of other ones, Porzingis, when he sprained his ankle, he was 50, 60% owned. He was super chalk, just disgraceful. Freaking Knicks. And that Indiana Knicks game just in general. The pace of that game, of course, the one game that stays close, it's like 87-83, something disgusting, just painful to watch. It was a tough night. I mean, some days, I don't know if all of you guys actually watch the games. Some days I just wish I did not watch the games. I could just wake up like, a lot of you guys, look at my score, and I would just be, I won money or I lost money. But like sometimes watching the games, just living through this, I'm pretty sure it's taken years off my life. I'm pretty sure I'm aging like the bailiff in dog years. I'm pretty sure before I started doing this podcast, plus I got sleep before, I just think I was relatively handsome. I gotta ask myself, I gotta look in the mirror and see. I don't know. Maybe I gotta stop doing the podcast. This can't be good for my health. I'm pretty sure heart disease runs in my family as well. Yeah. Anyway, Steven Adams. Can anyone explain what the hell has happened to me? Like, if you watch the games, he's there. Physically, he's there. I don't know if there's if an OKC fan can tell me what the hell's going on with him. Does anyone go to an Oklahoma City game? Is it an imposter? I cannot figure out for the life of me what has happened to him. So OKC played Brooklyn, the perfect spot in the world. He gets Brook Lopez, a guy who can't get a rebound to save his life. But Steven Adams does nothing. He's dirt cheap. He's under 5K at this point on almost all sites, and he still can't even get value. It's just really puzzling. And then I made the mistake of listening to this stupid Bill Simmons podcast. Well, no, I like the Bill Simmons podcast, and then he had Zach Lowe on it, I guess, yesterday. And by the way, I've never seen so many of you adult grown men grow erections by seeing Bill Simmons and Zach Lowe together on a podcast. I mean, my timeline must have had so many tweets from fully aroused men. I didn't see any ladies getting excited. Maybe some women were excited too by seeing how excited they were by having Zach Lowe and Bill Simmons together on a podcast. It was pretty funny. Me, I will personally still go look at the real CJ Miles instead of listening to that. But actually, I did listen to some of that podcast, and even on that podcast, I had to turn that off as well. Basically, everything on Monday night or Tuesday night, I had to turn off because what are they talking about on that podcast? How great Steven Adams was in the playoffs last year, and basically how good he, in his big contract, and how good of an actual NBA player he is. But like, what the hell's happened to him? He's been a disaster now for 2, 3, 4 weeks. Just abysmal. He's basically unplayable at this point. So against Brooklyn, he can't even take advantage of that. Soul freaking crusher. And then you had a bunch of other centers go nuts. Miles Turner went nuts. Drummond, of course, didn't go nuts because he stinks and he's falling asleep. Hernan Gomez went nuts. Cousins was great, but he was chalk. So Adams was a big letdown, and he was low owned too. He was only like 12% owned. So even against Brooklyn, can't take advantage. Then you have Thaddeus Young. Same questions about Thaddeus Young. I mean, Thaddeus Young is not as young as Steven Adams. So Thaddeus Young is, it's somewhat not as surprising that he's struggled lately. But Thaddeus Young has been a disaster. Same as Steven Adams for 2, 3 weeks now. So he's another guy. Both him and Steven Adams are under 5K at this point, and they still stink. So very frustrating if you play Thaddeus Young. That Indiana Knicks game was just painful. Really, I think the only guy that did anything that was probably Melo. Melo got close to hitting value. Melo outperformed Paul George. Then you had Mo Harkless and his clone brother, identical twin Roberson. What you had on display on Tuesday was you saw what happens when you get two guys who have zero usage rates. Harkless and Roberson did nothing. It was just excruciatingly painful. Harkless, for a short time, he was a consistency monster. He was giving you he was at least stumbling, bumbling, and fumbling his way to 20, 25 Fandle points. And lately, that has not happened. So he was actually I think he was around over 20% owned. He was super disappointing. CJ McCollum was an absolute mess. Portland got blitzed by the Pelicans. I mean, they lost by 23 points to New Orleans. And again, Portland's fighting for a playoff spot too. So it was just a wacky night. The Crash Brothers, and that's what I call them. They are not the Splash Brothers. Anyone who calls them the Splash Brothers, you have a lot of nerve doing that lately because Steph and Clay stink. And Steph was, the one thing to keep in mind is that Steph is still shooting a ton. He did 23 shots. He was 8 for 23. Clay actually shot okay. He was 10 for 22. He was 5 of 9 from 3-point range. So those two guys without Durant, they're getting tons of shots. The problem with Clay is he's just utterly useless besides shooting. He can't stumble and bubble into rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. He lets Draymond Green get all of those. And Steph Curry, just at his price, over 10K, he needs to shoot better. He end up, I think, around 44 Fandle points, and that's fine. But is that enough to take down a tournament? No, especially not at point guard, because point guard, there's always guys that are going to smash value. And especially a guy like Westbrook. If you played like Steph Curry over Westbrook, that did not work out for you tonight. Other than that, another bum Crab. If you tried crab legs, that didn't work. And then Drummond has cost me more money than anyone this year. He's consistently so low owned. And on this slate, I knew he was going to be crazy low owned because you basically had Cousins at a similar price now. Cousins' price dropped all the way to 9K on FanDuel. Drummond was 8K, and he's played up against Cleveland. The Cavs since Kevin Love went out, and because Tristan Thompson feels like he has to be this Iron Man and play every game. And Tristan Thompson, hashtag the Trisket, is also undersized. So they're a horrendous rebounding team, Cleveland, at least lately. So this should have been an ideal spot for Drummond, but no. The Pistons got absolutely waxed, as I mentioned. They lost 128-96, but that game was over after 6 minutes. So Drummond did not come through at all. How many minutes? He played 27 minutes. He actually took 12 shots. For him, that's a ton of shots. He had 8 points, 14 rebounds, but just not enough. In terms of dream lovers, Draymond Green was the key to being. He was in every winning lineup I saw. So again, if you played him, went to bed, then you're gonna wake up. You're gonna be pretty freaking happy because that idiot put up 60 Fandle points. Only shot 4 of 12 from the field. But if you play Draymond Green, you're not playing him for that. What was surprising is he got 14 free throws. 14. 20 points, 6 freaking blocks, 4 steals, 8 assists. And that's the thing without Durant. I mean, Durant, people don't realize Durant did so much for that Golden State team, and he also initiated offense. He played like a lot of de facto point guard. They could have Stephen Clay running off of screens, and Durant could basically run point. So without Durant, Draymond Green gets to initiate a lot more offense. He's a lot more involved in that offense in general. So he had a monster line. So if you played him, congrats. Rashawn Holmes, we could just stay in this Philly Golden State game. Saric was great because the game stayed close. Golden State was a 17-point favorite, I think, or maybe they were a 14-point favorite. I don't remember now. No, I think they were 17. Quite honestly, they should have lost. I mean, they were losing big going into the fourth quarter, and then they outscored Philadelphia 28-14 in the fourth quarter because like Philly has to lose. Philly's tanking. So who knows how much in play that was in the fourth quarter. But Saric was great. 37 minutes, 11 for 20 from the field, 25 points, 2 blocks, 3 steals, 6 assists. Covington shot the ball horribly, but the one good thing about Covington is he's not a one-trick pony. Unlike all the other bums we always mention, like the CJ McCollums, like the Klay Thompsons, who do nothing but shoot, Covington is all over the court. He's a lot of fun to watch because he shot 1 of 8. That was horrible. Only scored 7 actual points. But he gets you 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. So that's why, I mean, Covington, that's why you can afford to play him and feel pretty good about it most nights. Now his price is going up because even if he has a bad shooting night, he can still salvage it for you. Whereas the other guys, if they're shooting bad, you're screwed. Otherwise, let's see, TLC got the start again. I think someone tweeted me on Twitter if TLC was going to get the start. So I think I might have. I'm not sure when the hell that happened with when they benched Gerald Henderson. If that was 2 games ago, if that was this game, all this stuff is fading into an abyss for me lately. But TLC did get the start, and you're wondering if you don't know who TLC is, I just can't pronounce his name. It's Luwawa Cabaralo, hashtag Cabaret, whatever. He got 23 minutes, 10 points, 2 assists, 3 steals, 10 points, 1 steal, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. So maybe they're gonna give him some extra minutes down the stretch. He's dirt cheap, so he'll be playable, I think. McConnell was okay, 7 points, 10 assists, 2 steals, 7 rebounds. At his price, he was probably fine for the slate. For Golden State, besides Draymond, though, really no one was good. The only other guy who really hit value was Matt frickin' Barnes, who in 22 minutes got 10 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. And I think he had like 24 Fanta points. I actually saw him in some winning lineups as well, which is always a weird night if you see Matt frickin' Barnes in winning GPP lineups. Jeremy Lin was great. I'm pretty sure I listened to one of the shows on one of the different sites, and the first thing they said, this guy led the show by saying Jeremy Lin on FanDuel, unplayable at 5.8K. I'm pretty also sure this guy's been wrong every single day of the NBA season. It's just whatever this guy says, you should do the exact opposite. Why he would say Lin's unplayable, I'm not really sure. Look at his game log. Don't even have to watch him play. He's been consistently mediocre, but he's been consistent somewhat like 3-4 games in a row, giving you 27, 28 minutes and getting you close to 30 Fanta points. And at his price, that's all you need. So he played a little bit better on this slate, and he had close to like 35 Fanta points, and he was in a ton of winning GPP lineups. And that guy's an absolute buffoon. So anyway, Lin was pretty good. If Lin ever starts getting over 30 minutes, he can put up monster lines on that horrendous Brooklyn team. Is Coach Atkinson ever going to let him play that many minutes? I have no idea. That's one of the life's mysteries is figuring out that rotation. It's literally, I mean, if you gave me a Rubik's Cube, and I think I don't know if I mentioned this on the show or not, like I cannot solve a Rubik's Cube. I can't do it. If you gave me that thing and gave me 24 hours, I would not be able to solve the Rubik's Cube. It's the same thing with Atkinson's rotation. You give me all the time in the world, I couldn't figure out. No one can. It's impossible. I dare you to try. It'd actually be a fun game for us to do. Just next game, we should have some type of contest and try to guess all the players' minutes. I swear, it's impossible. Other dream lovers though, Hernangomez, he was tremendous. 13 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 1 block in that horrible Knicks Indiana game. And I've said this on a couple other shows. When the pace is slow, the only person that benefits is the big, slow, goofy. Most days it's big white guys, like a Hernangomez. So he was great. Now Miles Turner is not white, but also Miles Turner also had a good game for the Indiana center And that made sense because obviously you can attack the Knicks bigs all year long. So Miles Turner was pretty good, but given his salary, Hernangomez was out of the two, would have been the dream lover. Matt Barnes, I mentioned him, and then LeVert for Brooklyn. He's man. If you watch the Nets play, LeVert's like sometimes LeVert and Ronnie Hollis-Jefferson, they will jump off the screen. Like those two guys really are athletically gifted and super talented players. They're never probably going to get enough minutes where they can be consistently, putting up 40, 50 Fanduel point nights, but they can if they have a good game, they can give you like 30, 35. And that's what LeVert did on this slate. Those guys, I mean they're talented. All right, so before we get into the slate, let's talk a little bit about strategy the rest of the way. Because as you may have noticed, we've had some late scratches. I mean, I think a couple nights ago, Covington was a late scratch. And there's nothing worse than after lineup lock, finding out one of your players is going to be out. And we're in the home stretch, right? So there's only about 15 games or less for these teams, for every NBA team. And there's certain things you can do to try to avoid late scratches and, just getting killed by basically late news after lineup lock. And one of the easiest, simplest approaches to do is just play guys from teams with something to play for, right? So I mean, look at the NBA standings. Play guys from teams who are battling for playoff spots. So if you look at the standings, now it didn't work tonight, but Portland is battling for a playoff spot right now for the 8th seed in the West. With Denver, guys from those two teams. And really, I mean, it's going to be weird if you see late scratch Damian Lillard. That's not going to happen. Minnesota is also battling. So I mean, just you can do a simple thing like that, and conversely, avoid teams who are tanking, right? And especially avoid the teams who have a protected lottery pick, like the Lakers, like the Kings. I mean, that was the other team we saw a couple days ago, right after lineup lock. I'm pretty sure the Kings rested half their squad. They rested Kufis, Lawson, Tyreek Evans, because, I mean, they have to lose. They have a protected lottery pick. The Lakers have a top 3 protected lottery pick. The Lakers do the wackiest things in the world. Luke Walton play. I mean, it's also funny. I mean, Denver and Lakers are two. If you watch those two teams play, Mike Malone will keep his starters in up 30. It's freaking amazing. It's just from a DFS perspective. If you play Denver starters, you actually love that. Now, it actually cost me a lot of money one day when someone had Gary Harrison beat me. But the Lakers, on the other hand, I mean, Luke Walton, we have no clue what he's going to do with that rotation. Now, he also will play his starters like down 30, but he benched D'Angelo Russell last game for Jordan Clarkson. Who the hell saw that coming? So the Lakers, if you're playing these teams, playing guys from teams like the Lakers, like Philly, who has to tank, like the Kings, for the most part, if you want to use them as only tournament guys, I think that's a fine approach to do. And just play safer, and you should be doing this anyway. But in cash games, you need safety, right? So maybe in cash games, just don't. If you don't know a coach, if a coach doesn't have a set rotation after 65, 67 freaking games, maybe that means you shouldn't play anyone from that team in a cash game, right? So it's gonna be weird. Every day there's probably going to be one or two things. I mean, this happens anyway in DFS, right? Every night there's something bizarre and wacky that happens. So it's especially going to happen these last 15 games when you have we have no idea. We don't know what's going on inside these coaches' head. What is the GM telling them? If they have to lose games, I mean, I don't know how a lot of these teams are going to split up the minutes. So one of the best things to do is just, if you're not certain of it, just put them in tournaments. In cash games, just go the nice safe route. Play the guys battling for playoff spots. All right, and injury news for Wednesday. Batum, I don't know why he's still – it looks like he's doubtful with a migraine. Isn't a migraine only like a one-game thing? It's like a one-day thing? I've never had migraine, so I don't really know. So Batum is, at least according to Basketball Monster, he's doubtful. So obviously, if he's doubtful, I mean, I guess I would have to check Lamb's. We'll check Lamb's salary, but Lamb should be almost a lock as long as his price didn't skyrocket. On DraftKings, it might have went way up, but Lamb will be an elite play if Batum is out. Marvin Williams, dear God, can he have 4 straight games going nuts? he best player in the world right now, Marvin Williams. Wesley Matthews dealing with a right calf strain. He's questionable. Nerlens Noel is questionable. Two things regarding that. One, if Noel's out, Dallas can be just whoever Dallas is playing, and they are playing Washington. Gortat, and I'm pretty sure Gortat's being like benched for who? Jason Smith. I'm not even sure who else is. Or no, it's Mahinmi. Both those guys are going to be in play because if Noel is out, that means like Dirk plays a lot of the 5. And if Dirk is playing the 5, I've been doing this for the last few weeks, ever since they put Dirk at the 5. I immediately will have one lineup playing the opposing center. So if Nerlens is out, feel free to attack the Dallas bigs because Dallas cannot rebound to save their lives. Wes Matthews, with him being out, obviously it makes a guy like Seth Curry a little bit more playable. And JJ Barea will be a sneaky little play on this. No pun intended, because he is 3 feet 7 inches tall. Could be a sneaky play. Other than that, man, not a lot of injury news. Tyreek Evans is still questionable with ankle soreness, although if he sits out, they'll probably just Sacramento just wants to tank. Alex Len with a hip injury. This is somewhat interesting for Phoenix. And Phoenix is in one of the better games of the night in terms of pace. I think Phoenix is playing, where are they? I think they're playing Sacramento. Yeah, so Phoenix is playing Sacramento on a 221 over-under. So I'm not sure if Len is out. I mean, Phoenix they could go small. They could actually put like Chris at the 5, or they could finally let Big Sauce start. Williams, who's been tremendous. Do they finally let Tyson Chandler play? So I mean, I'm not really sure what Phoenix is going to do. They have some options. All right, let's hop into the slate and take a quick little trip to Vegas. Man, I'm like extra. I don't know. My lips. I'm extra parched today. I think it's because the weather makes my lips chapped, and then when your lips get chapped, it makes it hard to talk and pronunciate your words. And obviously, when you're doing a podcast, like talking is pretty important, man. So this weather has been a dream killer in like 1,000 different ways. I have trouble talking anyway because I have so much going through my head at this hour and so much stuff I want to tell you guys. I'm always stuttering and mumbling and bumbling anyway. So it's not a good sign. My lips are super chapped. This freaking weather, man. All right, so over-unders for this slate. We're waiting on Charlotte, Indiana. In terms of the best game to attack and just in terms of the overall number is Lakers-Houston. The problem here is Houston is a 17.5-point favorite against the Lakers. But the over-under is massive. It's 235. Now, Vegas has been wrong a lot this year. So it's a 10-game slate. If you want to fade this game, I get it. It makes sense. But I think there's merits to playing guys, especially on the Lakers, because now it'll probably be tournaments only for me. If you want to fade this game in cash, totally understandable. Tournaments, though, I think we have to attack it. One, we already saw Luke Walton. Even if the Lakers are down 30 to Houston, he can play the young guys. He's going to play Ingram 35 minutes regardless. Zubac should be able to get a lot of minutes as well. And then Russell and Randall, you would think those guys are going to see close to 30 minutes. And Clarkson, by the way, who's starting now. So I think all those guys are still in ideal spots, even if they get blown out. And then for Houston, that one's a little more troubling because Harden is super expensive. But if that game does stay close, fantasy gold. So in tournaments, if you're a tournament player, obviously you're going to have one lineup and stack that game. Other than that, the next game it's after that. It goes down a lot because you got Sacramento playing way up in pace, 221 over under. That's a monster line for a Sacramento Kings game. You got Portland and the Spurs. Spurs are favored by 10.5. To me, I don't know. I think Portland can keep that close without LaMarcus Aldridge. 212 over under there. Minnesota Boston 210 over under. Bucks Clippers 210 over under. That seems high to me. Then you have 4 games that are somewhat nasty. You have Dallas, Washington, 208. Pelicans, Heat, 208. Memphis Bulls. This game I want to throw up already just thinking about how slow that's going to be. 200.5. The one interesting thing is Memphis' defense has not been as good lately as we're used to. So I do think some of the Bulls are going to be in play on this slate, but that's not going to be a great game to watch. And then, man, Utah-Detroit. If you have League Pass, that's probably a game that will have a lot of dust on it because I don't want to switch to that channel. Man, 199 over under for that game. Utah's a 3-point favorite. All right, in terms of pace, I don't know how many things in life right now. Let's just say 2 for this slate. Right now, I just love the bailiff and pace. I don't even love usage right now. I'm in a weird state of mind. I'm just kidding. I love usage. How can you not love usage? Look at what Roberson and Harkless did to us on Tuesday night. Of course I love usage. Love 3 things: bailiff, pace, and usage. So teams playing way up in pace, Sacramento and Lakers. Those guys are going to be in really good spots. The problem is, what did I mention like 5 minutes ago? Who do we want to avoid, especially in cash games? Teams that are tanking. Who are the 2 teams in the NBA? The first ones that come to my mind when I think of tanking, Kings and Lakers. So to me, tournaments only probably for the Kings and Lakers, but elite spots for tournaments. Then you have, let's see, that's about it. There's no one else significantly playing up in pace. Those are the only 2 freaking teams on a 10-game slate. All right, let's hop into the plays. Top plays at each position. Even my singing voice, you can probably tell it's not as great today. So let's start with point guard. As always, it's loaded. It's a 10-game slate. So there's going to be guys that are going to smash value. As always, John Wall's overpriced. He's 10.4K. So do you need to do it? No, you do not. Also playing way down in pace against Dallas. Dallas has been pretty good defending point guards this year. With that said, is he a nice cash game play? Is he going to get you probably around 40 to 45? Yeah, he is. So I don't mind it for cash. In a tournament, it's hard to envision him going berserk for like 60, 65 FanDuel points on this slate. You can do it, but not an elite spot for him on Tuesday or on Wednesday. Getting all the days mixed up. Chris Paul, 8.9K. Chris Paul was great his last game against Utah. If you watch that game, it was weird because there's a lot of games where he is super passive. You know what? If you watch him play, him and Harden are very similar. They're very methodical on the court. Both of them look kind of chunky. They look a little big. I call Harden Cheeto face. I'm not sure if Chris Paul's not. He's not fat. But I think a lot of it is just their girth. Their lower bodies especially are pretty strong. But they play at such a methodical, kind of boring pace. But against Utah, Chris Paul was super aggressive offensively. So if he keeps that up, that'd be tremendous for the Clippers. I'm not like Willie. I don't know. I think Utah. That game was really weird to watch because Utah. I think they held Blake Griffin to 8 actual points, and I'm pretty sure down the stretch, Gordon Hayward was defending Blake Griffin, and he was able to hold his ground. Which, if you're a Clippers fan, that had to be infuriating. Because that should not happen. Blake Griffin should have destroyed Gordon Hayward. But maybe Gordon Hayward has super sneaky strength that I was not aware of because he was definitely able to defend Blake. And actually, and if Utah put Gordon Hayward at the 4, they basically play Joe Johnson and Gordon Hayward at the end of games lately. Lately. So it's an interesting strategy that Utah was doing as well. But so Chris Paul gets the Bucks. The Bucks have played so slow. They're a tough team to attack at the point guard position. At least they have been all year. I still think Chris Paul's fine. The problem is I think he played as well as he could play against Utah and had 50 FanDuel points. So that seems to be about his ceiling. Is that enough to take down a tournament? No, I don't think it is because that's not even 6 times his salary. So fine he's probably a decent cash game play. And maybe because you can attack Bucks bigs. If you wanted to team up a Chris Paul and you use some correlation and team him up with like a DeAndre Jordan, maybe I could see that go in like a tournament. But it's hard to see him in like a winning GPP lineup on Wednesday. Isaiah Thomas, 8.8K. The good thing about Isaiah, who has not been great lately, is his price is falling. The problem is it's not falling fast enough for me. The last game was a misnomer because they blew out the Bulls in the first 6 minutes of that game. So, but before that, he's been in the